So good questions. Keep them coming, because that's a large part of this. So one of the things I wanted to emphasize is Ohio State and the cities that have been participating have really been focused on not only quantity of the public's data, especially around financial data, but also the quality. There's a lot of localities around the country that they do something akin to a dump of data when they finally get to the point of sharing it. And it makes it very difficult for the public to be able to figure out what this information means. So Ohio's made huge strides in that, and I believe strongly that's why they're number one, or I guess right now tied for number one. You're still number one. Go Buckeyes. Another part that Frank definitely emphasized, and I just want to re-emphasize, is the partnership between not only the state and obviously the agencies that are participating, the Treasurer's Office, the Auditor's Office, but also the participation of the cities, because it's certainly for quite a few of the cities that weren't ready for this. This was a burden on them, but they've found a real partner with the state to participate and make this happen for their constituents, so that they feel like they're fully informed and they can go to council meetings and actually know what's going on and not have to wait a couple months for the information rather than showing up at the council meeting fully informed. So, but also the people that are really passionate about government transparency, they have a way of actually going and finding the information and coming up with perhaps intuitive ideas of how the government can work better, how there could be savings. They can find out who the vendors are working with the state and the cities. It's very important, critical partnership that just isn't possible without that information being online. So we are in the modern age, and we need modern government, and this without data transparency, it's just not possible.
I'm Michelle Berry. I'm with OpenGov.
Morning. All right. Thank you. It's all good. Morning, everybody. Dan Risco from State Treasurer Mandel's office. Glad to see some people here, familiar faces and new ones. So happy to have you all in Columbus this morning.
Yeah, so we've been working, OpenGov is based in California, and as Frank mentioned, they were looking for software and technology that can help the state treasurer meet their needs and have the online, the searchable, the functionality available to their government to utilize the technology that's out there. And OpenGov was created 6 years ago because there were cities in California that were facing fiscal emergencies, and they needed a way to determine, where are those funds coming from, where is the fraudulent and wasteful spending. And again, a lot of the governments are using outdated technologies, spreadsheets, even DOS-based platforms to run reports. So it took a lot of time and effort to try to identify what was going on, which made for a lot of inefficiencies. So OpenGov is a cloud-based platform that started out as transparency, and a lot of people just think that OpenGov is a transparency site only, but we do a lot more. But we do have a partnership with Dan, and maybe, Dan, you could touch upon how, that journey took place and why OpenGov, and
Sure.
Answer any questions.
Sure. So the Transparency Initiative has been a big platform of Treasurer Mandel's administration since day one. He's always talked about the financial side of things, but some things that people don't always know about, some other things that he's done to improve Ohio's transparency. Posting local government and state official salaries online. So that was one of the first things he had done when he took office. And also posting state property maps online. So the Ohio Checkbook was kind of the third pillar and really has been the marquee part of his administration. So State Checkbook launched in December of 2014 and really kind of turned state transparency on its head. Nobody else had ever done this before. Nobody else ever put out the truly comprehensive and interactive tool that Ohio provides. And as you know, we just mentioned, we obtained a #1 ranking again from US PIRG, which we're very proud of. And we've held that, and it's something that we've really strived to do, and that's kind of where the local government partnerships came from. So this idea of transparency, it's an abstract thing when you think about it. There's no right or wrong way really you can do it. Some people have put out PDFs, Excels. We just wanted to use technology in the way people expected it to be. So the treasurer always talks about, do you want to be Blockbuster Video, or do you want to be Netflix? Do you want to be taxis? Do you want to be Uber? Really, that was kind of our mentality in going through and building the state's checkbook. And so what we want to do is make it user-friendly. We wanted something that wasn't financial, heavy government terms. We wanted something that people could understand. And we also wanted it to be understandable to where if you drill down in through, as you click into it, you know what you're looking for. You can use the Google-style search bar, as we call it, to look for certain objects and items. And our partnership with OpenGov has allowed us to onboard those local governments. As Frank mentioned, we had over 100 locals sign up initially. We're over 1,300 partnerships right now. Those are local governments we've worked with to either put their spending online or are currently working to put their spending online. And we can talk about how OpenGov and our office works together, and also how our team here in the Treasurer's Office in Ohio works with local governments. So we'll go ahead and I'll kick it back over to you, Michelle.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, and what OpenGov's platform allows you to do, it's very searchable and easy. I mean, ideally speaking, we don't have the displays up so you can see our portal and our platform. It's a very interactive platform that you can go into. It's web-based. And you go online and you can see the reporting, and not just checkbook. I mean, OpenGov offers a full suite of solutions. I'm going to give like a half a sales pitch here. That also does, budgeting tools and reports and dashboards and citizen engagement to provide. I mean, we do a lot more than just the transparency, but that functionality, imagine like you're a finance director and you're sitting at a city council meeting and you need to answer a question about police overtime spend, or how much do we spend on this, and to go into a spreadsheet and click on which tab and which line. Our platform allows you to go within just several clicks to very granular financial detail. So it's really making things more accountable and more efficient. I mean, something that used to take, okay, I have to go back to my office, get into these reports, find it, let me get back to you. I mean, you're able to do that within, within minutes. It's at your fingertips. That data is very easily, once it's in there, I mean, it's very easily searchable, and it's not challenging. It's not meant to be like, okay, how do I figure this report out? Do I need an MBA in finance to figure this out? No, I mean, you could just very quickly and easily get to that information. So yeah, we work very closely with the State Treasurer's Office. We work in conjunction because we have the same mission to help these cities, municipalities be more efficient in their day-to-day processes, not just with the transparency, but even in their daily operations.
So I can kind of touch on why Ohio is different and unique in how we operate, how the Transparency Initiative here operates. There's about 4,000 local governments statewide. We're a strong home rule state, which is not always the case when you go state to state. So all of our local governments have a lot of power to make their own decisions, and a lot of autonomy over how their finances are spent. So when we set out to do this, and like Frank said, we sent out the letter to 18,000 local officials, nearly 4,000 local governments across the state, and we got that feedback. Our mission was to go out and meet with them and to figure out how to do this, and how to do this three different tasks we had. It had to be free, it had to be easy, and it couldn't take a lot of time. And so we made it our mission to do that. And so every day when we go out, to this day, that's the things that we focus on. As Frank mentioned, our team will go out and do in-person calls. We'll go and run the data with the local officials, but we also made it so easy that if we have an official that knows how they're somewhat functional with how to get the reports out, we can do it over the phone. Everything we have, a lot of our reports are built into the system or cloud-based. As he mentioned, that partnership we have with the State Auditor's Office through UAN, it's a couple of clicks. They don't even have to sign into their financial accounting software anymore, and we get that report from the Auditor's Office. We like to say we have white glove service when it comes to joining the Ohio Checkbook. We don't just give you the instructions and set you free. We are there every step of the way, from obtaining the data to build the website, going over the website with you. We want to make sure you have a good understanding of what you're looking at. Otherwise, what's the good of doing this for you? We want you to be able to tell the other local officials, your other officials that you work with, what it is you're doing, why we're doing this, what's the value added. And we want you to be able to tell other officials in neighboring communities why you did it and why you see the value in it. To kind of touch on keeping the data fresh, we're in year 3 of this initiative now. And so we're kind of getting to the point where data needs to be updated. We need to help people maintain their data. We're getting back in touch with people that we may not have talked to since maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, which is a good thing. So we're getting back in front of them. They're asking for updates. We're getting in front of new officials who may be joined or got elected in after the city or county or whoever might be joined the Ohio Checkbook. And it's kind of been good just to get a refresher for all of us. So now in year 3, we're kind of seeing the new people joining. The fear of the unknown is gone, but we're also getting back in touch with those original leaders. Justin Navi, who you're going to hear from, he's somebody we worked with now in 2 different local governments that we're really happy about. So, those kind of partnerships that really keep this initiative growing and going every day.
Yeah, and I'd like to just add that when I started, I've been with OpenGov, I've been working in public sector, but most recently at OpenGov for the past 6 months. And when I started, and I learned about the special relationship that the state treasurer has with the checkbook platform and how it's really, launched, that per grading is just phenomenal when I heard it. But when I started 6 months ago, there were 800 clients signed up with checkbook. So even in the past few months, now we're over that 1,000.
800 published online.
Online, yeah.
We're already over 1,000 committed.
Yeah, so I mean, just to see that growth within 6 months is just really compelling. It's telling a very compelling story. And one of the things, too, I wanted to mention, and Frank touched upon this, what we do is that our platform is completely, it's agnostic to whatever current financial software, accounting system that a government uses. So you don't have to be on a particular platform, and it's not to replace what they're currently doing. It's really to enhance that platform they're using so they can export their financials from, SSI or Civic or Tyler and put that into OpenGov's platform.
To kind of follow up on that, kind of what we're unique in that, we created one-page instructions, more or less, for all the local government accounting systems. So we never intended to have somebody come under all one accounting system. We want you to re-input data, because that was obviously one of the things we heard early on. We're not reinventing the wheel with our books. We said, that's fine. We'll figure out how to map your books. Just give us what you have. And so kind of if it's a city, they have a fund, they have a department, and they have an object level. And that object level is what you, the customer, you, the local citizen, see. You want to be able to understand what that check is going to. So if you see a check going to Staples on June 16th, you want to know that it's for office supplies, materials. That's something that you should be able to know and see. So every check image that you see on the state level, on the local level, we have a description in there that's built into their accounting network. We don't necessarily build that description in there. That's what comes with their accounting system. That's the same that the local officials see every week, and that's the same that we post online for our citizens to see. So we really didn't want to have to do any additional work on both ends, local officials. We didn't want to have to create descriptions whether there weren't any. And so when we get these updates, there might be new funds. We're 100% adaptable to including new funds in the accounting software. If they get a new department, if local government passes a levy, that's all things that we can incorporate into the OpenGov platform. And so we kind of gotten a pretty good understanding of how these local governments operate. So if we get an update file from, let's say, 2017, and we see there's a new description in there, oh, did you pass a levy? Yeah, we did. We have increased spending. They voted in a parks levy. Our citizens really care about their parks. What that does, it helps them tell their story as well. So their spending might go up, but you might see it as a different chunk. And the citizens will know, okay, I know that's going towards my park system where my kids play every weekend. And that's kind of what the whole mission is, more so for the local officials as opposed to citizens holding the officials accountable. For officials to be able to say, here's our story, here's what we're doing for the community. That's a pretty powerful thing, and that's something they can be proud of. And we want them to be proud to put that information out there, because we want them, if they're doing the right thing, to be able to brag about that.
For sure, and we all know that there's a lot of distrust of the government. I mean, that's always coming up. We just talked about, places that may have, unfortunately, a bit of corruption or whatnot, and we really want to change that image. I mean, it's really modernizing our government and to be in a more proactive role to say, hey, look, this is your money we're spending, right? It's not their money, it's not someone else's, it's your tax dollars that are funding all this, and it really tells a powerful story and it gets it out there to their citizens. I mean, and that's ultimately the end goal too, getting your citizens engaged and telling a good story for your town, village, city, state.
Yeah, it's always one of those things. We, unfortunately, in Ohio, the last few years, we've seen a lot in villages around the state. Somebody, unfortunately, stealing money, it's always too little, too late, and that's the first local government I call when I see it in the newspaper. Say, hey, look, you guys are in a bad spot financially. We can't help you with that. You got to go through the process with State Auditor's Office, figuring all that out. Here's a solution to help you gain trust back in your community. And I think I'd have to check with our team, but we're probably near about 10 local governments that we've called that have had something bad happen in their community that they joined the checkbook within the same year, just to restore that trust within their governments. And it's always kind of a positive thing. Generally, it tends to be new officials in there, and they say, we want to do this. We didn't know what was going on before, but we want to have this so this will never happen again. And it's unfortunate because it's kind of like if we had this before, they always say if we had this before, it would never have happened. But it kind of goes along with what the citizens say. We're not always on there, but I'm glad to know it's out there, just in case. It's kind of the deterrent. And so it's twofold for us. Really, it's a net positive for local officials and the citizens alike. And, you know, it's always a great thing when we can change that little clicker we have to publish and get another one online, and we can go out in the community, go to a city council meeting and thank them for their partnership, because it is, at the end of the day, it's a partnership between state and local governments, Treasurer's Office, and cities, townships, and counties, school districts all around the state. So it's been a really positive public policy initiative for us.
Absolutely, and then citizens too. I mean, the level of service that you get, we live in a world where, you go on Amazon or online and you have things and resources available to you at your fingertips. Why not expect that same level from your local government as well? So it's just raising that bar and that level of service as well.
Sean, should we take time for questions then?
Yeah, I think it'd be great. Actually, I have one.
Great.
Start you off.
Oh, I thought we were going to do an interpretive dance number.
Well, that comes after. There's time for that, trust me. Do you have a sense, either one of you, how FOIA, Freedom of Information requests have been reduced at any townships or maybe even at the state level?
Yeah, I mean, I deal with that when I'm working with cities and governments locally. They get a lot of PI requests, and some of them can be as, granular as, it's very interesting. There was a township I was working out in Cincinnati. I mean, there's just certain citizens that are very vocal. They're always, it's the same person, right? And they will ask for a certain PO or, what did you spend this 36 cents on? I'm like, okay, it's only 36 cents, but they want to know. And these requests, I mean, that takes time away, and yes, they are available. They're happy to answer those questions, but I have heard firsthand that cities have had a reduction in their PI requests because it's out there.
Yeah, and I'll just kind of second that. I'm never going to, we get calls from local officials saying, can I just use this in place of my FOIA request, and I'm never going to claim to be a lawyer. I always tell them to consult their legal counsel. But if it's something along spending lines and they're already on checkbook, I always tell them, refer the citizens to that. Maybe it takes the place of their question. Maybe they can answer the question without, having to fulfill that. And generally, that's always been a pretty positive thing. So they always call, people always say, well, I got 3 guys. This is more to the reasons why we hear maybe they don't want to do it. They'll say, well, we got these 2 guys that always come to our council meeting. And we always say to them, they're going to come no matter what. Why not put this out there, do something positive for the other 98% of your community? It's free, it's easy to use, and you know what? Those 2 guys that are always coming, they're going to appreciate it too. And so we always put a positive spin on it and encourage them to use that as a catalyst to join, and it's been really successful.
Yeah, and I think you touched upon a good point too. I mean, there is that vocal minority, but there is a silent majority out there. So, it's always better have it out there, and there are some counties that say, well, we have it, or cities, and, we just don't get much response, but, and that's okay too, but at least you're doing the right thing by having it out there.
So I don't want to dominate. Please. I could ask questions all day.
So I just wanted to ask, for those of us from communities that are not a part of the checkbook, that are not on the platform, do you have any advice in terms of what we can do to kind of play a role in making that happen?
Sure. So talk to your local officials. We're happy. We always say we just need one champion, whether it's mayor, city administrator, treasurer, city council member. We just need somebody to be in there and be an advocate for transparency. Generally, we've figured out almost every accounting system in the state. We can get it done very quickly, and we do a majority of the work, so we're not lying when we tell the local officials that we do most of the work. We do. If they can spare us a 10-minute meeting, we'll come down and run the file if necessary. Generally, it's already built into their accounting system. So we've really lowered the barriers of entry for most local governments. So we would encourage you to just talk to your local officials about this. We're happy to make phone calls. We're happy to call and talk to them about it. Ohio's one of those, we were just talking about this last night, Ohio's an in-person kind of state. You got to come and be an in-person kind of thing. The other thing that they're also, officials are always shocked to hear is we come to council meetings and do presentations all the time, whether it's to pitch a local government on joining or to actually show them the website when it's done. That's a positive thing for us. We enjoy doing this. Mary from our team is going to be at a local community tonight doing this exact thing, and that's a township, right, Mary? It's a township. So we'll go to trustee meetings, we'll go to city council meetings, we'll go to county commissioners meetings. It's all public meetings. We get invited. We go to finance committee meetings. We are able to dedicate resources to come help local governments on board to this. And it's something that's been our mission ever since we started this. And so we're happy to come, help the local government join, answer any questions. And with, so many local governments already on, it's kind of a compelling message to say, why aren't you on? So we're happy to do that.
Right, and we're dedicated here to the state of Ohio. I mean, we're all local. I live in Cleveland, and how many people are on your team, that go out? Just in the field, like you said, you're happy to go to represent Checkbook at a local council meeting or whatever it takes. So, you have people out here for you, so.
Any other questions, guys? Please.
I'm daydreaming of running little intros to the public at like the library or something like that. Is anyone doing that? Is that something that I can piggyback on someone else's efforts?
I'm sorry, just, are we?
So I'm imagining, like setting up a little class at the library for the public.
Oh, absolutely.
See the Ohio
yeah,
Checkbook.
Absolutely. We're happy to do, we just kind of consider our constituent hours, constituent office hours kind of thing. So we're happy to do that. Yeah, absolutely.
So we can invite you.
Yeah, that'd be
Fantastic.
great. Yeah, and
Right.
we do stuff like that all the time. I guess that's a really good point to bring up. When we were rolling this out, we went to Chambers of Commerce all the time. We go to the Farm Bureau. Lauren and Marcy from our team, they're always at Farm Bureaus advocating for this. So there's really no group of people that we say no to. If they want to know more about transparency in the checkbook, we will absolutely come present. So yeah, absolutely. Grab my card after this. Happy to come.
Excellent. Anybody else? I have one last question, because you still have a couple minutes, and then the interpretive dance will begin.
Absolutely. Cue the
All right.
music.
So, again, from your experience of being in the field, since both of you are in the field so much, have you seen where perhaps some local IT companies have sprung up to help support more of the open data at the local level, or perhaps even some of the people that used to be doing FOIA requests are now doing more productive things for the government? Yeah, I know it's a
one way I
one-off
could
question.
answer,
Sorry.
there's one way I could answer. Like some of the software companies that do the accounting, and they're starting to add more, they're trying to be like us.
That's good.
So we do see that these things are becoming more prevalent in this space, and I'm just speaking for not just the transparency, but like the other tools that OpenGov, like with the reporting and the dashboards, and taking those, that data and making very nice visualizations, so it's easy to digest that data, that you don't need to be like, you don't have to have an MBA in finance to understand, but we're seeing some more, software companies expanding that too. So, it's definitely, it's a growing movement.
Great. No, that's exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah,
Right.
and just to piggyback off that, a lot of these guys, local private accounting software might be providing them a transparency tool, and that's great. We are all for transparency. We would just still encourage them to join the checkbook because it's free, it's easy. We can likely take the same report that they're uploading to their own accounting software for that platform and put it on our website and our platform. I think Ohio Checkbook and the Treasurer Mandel has done a really good job of marketing this as a one-stop for people to see all communities' finances. And so we would just continue to encourage local governments to post on ohiocheckbook.com because citizens do know it. They know the brand. They know the name. And we've put a lot of time and effort into getting this out there. I guess kind of our media strategy is when a local government does join, we do send a press release or we go on site and talk to the media, at a city council meeting. And so we want people to know this is out there, and we do a pretty good job of letting people know they can go to ohiocheckbook.com and find all the local governments across the state that are currently online.
Yeah, and we're here as resources to help you get that message out, too. And part of OpenGov, like I said, we do offer solutions other than just the transparency portal. That's offered, that is paid for by the state treasurer, but, if cities and counties do purchase OpenGov, we do have citizen engagement tools and resources to really kind of carry that story on. So, we're here to take transparency and more, too, so those tools and resources are available as well. If you think, okay, great, this is great, I have it, but how do I get it out there? There are really resources and solutions available to address that as well, just so y'all know.
Oh, one more?
Okay, I do have another. Is there any effort to get consistent categorization between different communities for comparability, or is that just out of scope?
We never intended to launch this for comparability at the local level. That was one of the things that we kind of got feedback from early on. However, if you do have two communities in the same county, let's say,
Right.
you can kind of see which vendors they're using for things like road salt, office materials. There's no direct compare button included on the local platform. But if it goes along with our Township A is joined, why isn't Township B on, then Township C joins. They can look at their vendors that they're using and maybe compare what they're spending on, that kind of thing.
Right, and OpenGov's platform, because it's cloud-based, it does connect you to other cities and counties in OpenGov's network as well. So not just in Ohio, but out nationwide. And in our network, you're able to connect to those cities and counties and see, okay, what is a township of 100,000 people? So either by fund size, so you can kind of compare yourself to what they're doing as well. You do have that accessibility in our platform.
And I will just say on the state site, you are able to compare agency to agency. So because we're all under one accounting network, you can look across different departments and agencies to see what's being spent.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was awesome. Yes, no, thank you, thank you. Excellent, thank you.